So we have inherited from past presidents and mayors the honor of presenting an annual award in Evanston, the Catalyst Award, presented annually at the MashUp.
And I am honored to have the opportunity to continue in the tradition of giving out the Catalyst Award. And I am particularly joyful to give it to someone who is a friend, someone who is very much a role model for me as mayor, and someone who absolutely exemplified the idea that we accomplish great things when we work together in partnership with institutions in this community.
As many of you know, I'm relatively new in this job. I can't wait to really roll up my sleeves and get to work on making that relationship even stronger. And we are going to continue in the tradition of past Catalyst Award winners and organizations who have worked hard to be good neighbors. This year's award winner, Mayor Elizabeth Tisdahl, is the model of a good neighbor.
Yes, she is. I am also incredibly excited to work with you to continue to build on the foundation that Liz Tisdahl had so much to do with creating, and to follow in her footsteps and establish the kind of relationship that both the university and the city benefit from.
Go Evanston, go Cats.
That's right. And now let's learn a little bit more about Elizabeth Tisdahl.
Well, when I became mayor, the Sun-Times referred to the tension between Northwestern and the city of Evanston as the 100 Years' War. There will always be tension between a university's needs and a city's, but for quite a while, it had been absolutely horrific. It was listed, I think we made the 10 worst town-gown relations in the country list.
One of the worst problems with the university and the city is the impact it had on the relationship among council members. And it was always us and them. And that really permeated the feelings of all of us who were more or less having difficulties accepting Northwestern as our good neighbor.
So I became the new mayor, and there was a new president of Northwestern. And I thought that was a perfect time to change the relationship. And I knew he would have been told by some of the old timers at Northwestern that the city was terrible and not to try to get along with them. And so I wanted to represent a different viewpoint. And I thought the simplest thing to welcome a new neighbor to town is you bake cookies and take them over to their house and ring the doorbell and say hi. So that was what I planned to do.
So I became the 16th president of Northwestern back in September of 2009. And I was busy moving in with my family and the dogs and all that stuff, all the chaos. And then these chocolate chip cookies showed up. Hand-baked chocolate chip cookies with a nice note saying, President Shapiro, I'm the new mayor, and I want to get to know you. And my granddaughter and I baked these chocolate chip cookies. And I was like, wow, that's like pretty cool. You don't expect that from a mayor, usually more formal. And, I showed my wife, I said, look at this mayor, look at these chocolate chip cookies. How cool is this? A day or so later, they're gone. And I'm seeing his Tupperware. And so I said, okay, I started throwing it away. And my wife goes, what are you doing? It's Tupperware. And I'm going, what does it cost? A couple bucks? He goes, you're going to return it to the mayor. And I said, I'm not going to return it to the mayor. I don't even know where City Hall is. She's busy. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not going to do it. She goes, you are going to return it to the mayor. I said, okay, what am I going to do? So, I go down there and I figure out where it is. People were thinking, because I had it in a little bag. And they're like, what's in this bag? Like I had a bomb or something, what it was. It was like this brown paper bag with this little plastic thing in there, There I'm holding Tupperware and I'm going, where's the mayor's office? And they're going, why? And I said, I got to return this Tupperware. He goes, well, she's not in. I said, well, I'll leave it out for her door.
I got a note from President Shapiro, and there was a Tupperware container that I brought the cookies in, left by my office door, and it said, you weren't here. So I'm leaving the Tupperware by the door and hoping no one thinks it's a bomb. And I laughed and I thought, oh, this is going to be fun. I like this guy.
So next thing I know, like this story shows up. I think the Trib did it and everything. And then Liz is going out there going, isn't it incredible? Not only, is he very anxious to reach out to the town, but he knew that Tupperware is special and he returned it. And I felt really like a fraud. So I finally said to her, I said, Liz, you keep saying I'm such a thoughtful guy. I didn't want to return a Tupperware. He goes, well, why'd you do it? And I said, this is my wife. And then she goes out there telling the new president of Northwestern is a great guy. He just loves his wife. So you can't lose in that sense. She turned it into like, I'm thoughtful to like, I love my wife. So that's Liz.
I didn't know what would happen, but I knew that it was a gesture that couldn't be misunderstood. Someone baking cookies with their grandchildren and giving them to a new neighbor is an old American story told over and over again throughout the country. So I knew that he would view it as a friendly gesture, and he did.
And when Liz made her cookie journey, that began to change. It really did. I mean, I had never, ever in my life talked to a president of the university, and I had been there through at least 4 other presidents. And she set the stage for a relationship between the government and the university. And that was an amazing feat.
You and I wouldn't even be here talking right now if it weren't for the cookie exchange.
When I came into this role, Mayor, I was fortunate to inherit a more harmonious relationship. I think that exchange opened the doors for what we now consider, a mutual exchange of trust, of value, and the fact that we can work together towards our shared ideals and goals. But that doesn't begin without one exchange of a cookie.
Right. And I was the real beneficiary of the cookie exchange because under the Good Neighbor Agreement, the university committed to give $1 million a year for 5 years. And then the university was generous enough to extend it another year and increase it from $1 million to $1.5 million with a focus on racial equity. But we did a lot of good things that came about because of that relationship that Mayor Tisdahl built with Morty Shapiro. I think the lesson we can learn from Mayor Tisdahl is that you can transform a relationship, both personally and individually and organizationally, through food. And we all know that, I think, intrinsically, but we don't always act upon it. And she did act upon it. And it's made a really positive difference for this community. And for that, and as a former mayor, I am very grateful for what she did.
I would just say that I absolutely adore Liz Tisdahl. But what she does when no one's looking and when no one's paying attention, to really look out and care for the people that don't have a voice, that don't have the resources to actually care for themselves. And so I couldn't think of someone more deserving for this award. And I hope this small recognition makes you smile a little bit more on this special day. So thank you, Liz.
I don't think we ever had a mayor like her, and probably won't have one like her. She was just so much a total human being, and I always admired her.
Yeah, I just want to say that Liz so richly deserves this award. But she's put her heart and soul and her personal and professional career into Evanston. Evanston would not be what it is without Liz. Her brilliance and her perseverance and her honesty is just absolutely extraordinary. And if I had any successes in my 13 and a half years as 16th president of Northwestern, I readily and enthusiastically share that with her as a mentor and as a friend.
Evanston it's a city, but it's also an idea. It's a place where we can all get along together. It's an ideal that a lot of us are trying to reach, and we probably never will reach the ideal of Evanston that we have in our minds, but we're never going to stop trying.